And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Terra Invicta in our Resistance run. And it's arguably time to get to the end of the run, I suppose. We're going to continue trying to chip away at the EU. Reunification ready there. Oh no, we finished that. Unification ready here. Bringing the Federation ready here. Bringing Thailand. So one of you wants to do set national policy there to get Thailand
on my way
in.
to the capital.
Your orders.
I'm not going to immediately bring Japan in. We're going to wait one more. Well, if they very quickly go after Japan again, we'll bring Japan in. Otherwise, everyone else here, go raise unrest in the EU.
The people demand justice.
Ready for orders.
Quick unrest check pass on the other two majors, yeah.
We will bring it down.
At your service.
Ready for my mission.
There we go.
It's time to
Firm assignments,
bring it
let some time
all
move in.
down.
Our first of our two prepared and ready
that.
to go fleets should be arriving for their refuel during this council action. We'll send them to the aliens' dwarf planet. The second one, which will be in the next council action, we'll send to Mon Pang. You're repaired. Okay, time to go refuel. So we actually will send 3 by the looks of it.
Long live the revolution!
Long live the revolution.
The uprising is underway.
The revolution is coming.
Okay. First, go ahead and get rid of the aliens nearby. Engage. Max bid they can't run away with. I'll resolve. There we go. Launch for a station for a refuel. Fly to alien station Able. 6.2 weeks.
Policy direction complete.
And then Federate Thailand. You arrived. Oh, because you weren't launched to the base. So fly to the base. It's gonna take a little less, like a third of an hour. And do your resupply. Which those tanks are pretty empty, so it's a long resupply. We did find an alien on Earth. Maybe a little tempting to see what we can get from trying to shoot him. Lethal science complete. Place that in space. And then you want to set off. I also want to send you to Alien Station Able. Just in case the first one isn't successful. Although it almost certainly will be. Okay, So, you're the alien. Locking you up is a 1% base. You can push it up to 14. So, locking you up does not make sense.
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
My assassin starts with 2, and we can push it up to 31. Or we can investigate you for a bit, which is what I will do. We will get some eyes on you for the moment.
Where to? Investigating target.
What's the op?
Well, at the same point, we will continue to
people
increase
will
unrest
rise.
in the EU. Okay, beginning its resupply. That one will be the one we send
Offering
to
assistance.
Mongping.
Tracking failed.
Tracking failed. Oh, did it go to ground or something?
Prepping for my next mission.
Oh no, it's in the alien nation. Okay, not the in the servant land. So it did a big move and a good job of hiding. Okay. We still know where it is, apparently. So while tracking failed, tracking did not fail that badly.
The people will be free.
Death to tyrants. The revolution is coming.
The uprising is underway.
Didn't really take you that long to refuel. Nope, you're done. You're ready to go. Okay. Your destination on Mengpo? Mengpo Righteous Blade Station. Mengpo. 14 weeks together. Technically, we can't win until the station is destroyed, so we gotta come blow it up. Engage. Start in battle. Coming in slow because we're coming up against a station. I must have screwed up because we only got 9 ships here. That's fine enough, but I left the 10th one behind apparently. Oops-a-daisy. Okay, some of the enemy well, what, that's the capital ships are probably punching the accelerator a little bit. Not gonna immediately change plan. Yeah, they punch the accelerator a little bit and then turn the engines off once they're happy at the closing speed. The scariest thing here is that they've got 20 reinforcements, so we're going to blow up like the first 20. Then they're going to get reinforcements probably as we're getting a little bit danger close to the battle station, which we'll also have to destroy. We can shoot our way up the line, hopefully. First enemy ship destroyed. Actually, no, finish that monitor off. Okay, I'm going to turn to the line. Try to work our way down the enemy Titan ships. Looks like some of the kinetics got through the point defense. Looks like one ship may have lost its bridge. Oh, I remember. No, this fleet only has 9 because we lost one to the aliens. Didn't replace it, obviously. We just repaired. Not that we left one behind. Well, I suppose we kind of left the ruins of it behind, but that's not what I meant when I was thinking I left it behind originally. Okay. Titan battleship appeared to be dead in the void. Should be the range the plasma should start opening up. Here we go. So the plasma giving us a hole in the armor for the laser to cut through should accelerate us actually doing damage to the ships. That one's destroyed. If anything, probably spent a little bit too long shooting at that one. Okay, that's another one dead in the void. It looks like that one repaired its kinetic weapons. Well, maybe not completely, because it's only shooting very infrequently at this point. Or maybe that was plasma that we were saying? Could be plasma. Okay. One last line ship that's not dead in the void. Here comes the reinforcements. $11 cannons, so 11 ships are presumably destroyed at the time of the reinforcing. We're at range of the station. I should shoot the station. Yeah, we are at range of the station. Okay, first one destroyed. Next one destroyed. Defense is doing a reasonable job at defending the fleet. Kill some of the flankers while we're drifting just a little bit closer to the station. Okay, here's the last of the aliens. And I believe this is the alien's main shipyard. So with this destroyed, the alien should be struggling to replace any other combat losses. This basically being the death knell to the alien resistance against the resistance. Okay, I think all major alien resistance is now in the fight. There's a lot of kinetics coming in from that location. Oh, they got a couple assault carriers. That's where the kinetics coming in from. Yeah, the assault carriers entered the range and apparently are able to put quite a bit of DACA. Opening fire on those assault carrier. Well, opening fire on the first one. On to the next assault carrier. Looks like the assault carrier should blow up any moment now. And frigate is apparently able to put quite a few kinetic rounds. Granted, they're probably pretty small. I was about to say, I'm surprised that ship's still intact, as it promptly explodes. And with that, I think we have about undone all remaining real alien resistance as far as in space. Ships don't necessarily have a lot of Delta V for maneuvering, but they can at least maneuver enough to pursue otherwise dead in the void ships. Here we go. With that, I think all significant alien resistance in space will be destroyed, except for some stations. Neutralized, destroyed, destroyed, destroyed. A couple managed to get away damaged. Everything else destroyed. Oh, and the colony ships were damaged. So you actually can't... set up the base. Well, start doing some high-level bombardment. Try to track that alien. Again.
Eyes on
I
target.
think everyone else is on Great and Rest, yeah.
I will help them.
When's my second fleet supposed to get there? 10th of February, 4 days.
Mission abort.
Okay. For whatever reason, we weren't able to do that to the alien. It's fine. You have arrived. I don't want you to join the existing fleet. Found a fusion platform, which is going to build a space dock for refueling, and a layered point defense array because it can. And then we're gonna have you undock. And then you can do a high-level bombardment.
The uprising is underway.
The people will be free. The people will be free. Long live the revolution.
Long live the revolution. Azure Fortress base is destroyed. High level bombardment on Opal Fortress next then. Love how it says, "Oh, they will surely look for ways to retaliate." I'm like, with what? Against what? Why aren't you at Garibaldi Station? The Garibaldi Station. And then you have the unknown facility. I think I can bombard the rest of it from orbit. Just obviously, I don't think you're allowed to destroy the unknown facility. Okay. So yeah, at this point, I think it is time for one of our counselors.
Reporting in.
To launch to space.
The people demand justice.
Ready to go.
Where to?
You know what I don't need right now? Mining. I think we can make do without these. That's because we need the Janus section on someone. Yeah, let's just do without the mining. And you have combat astronaut. Yep. I believe gives you go to orbit. Yes. Please
Prepping
get
for
on.
launch.
Gotta go fast. Okay. So for the moment, I'm just going to assume we've blown the place up enough that I don't need to keep bombarding. Yeah, everything destroyed except for the unknown facility in the alien colony core. You're not allowed to destroy the unknown facility, so we're good to go there. Next stop, the Red Cloud Station. And you're going to stay there until we have refueled. Nope, we've lost our turned counselor. Demos parking room, okay. Now able to intake the Nordic Federation. Not that I'm not interested in doing that, but we could. Storm ends because Opal Fortress Base is destroyed. So now it is time for you as well. Why? Let's do a share propellant. There we go. You also get to the station. We're going to do refueling as soon as it's got a space dock. There we go. Refuel and refuel.
Death to tyrants!
Their government remains stable.
Death to tyrants. The uprising is underway. The revolution is coming.
The revolution is coming. Whether that is due to portions of their country breaking off or not is a different thing. Okay, you've resupplied. Yeah, go ahead and assign for a repair.
On station.
They're now on Gotta Go Fast. As Gotta Go Fast may imply, gotta go fast. Can go fast. Your objective is to arrive at Red Cloud Station as fast as you can, pulling the just short of 3,000 KPS burn to get here in just under 8 weeks. It will arrive on the 14th of May. No, cancel. Okay. So you are going to wait what? 3.6 hours. And engage. Yeah, we'll come in fast. We'll take more damage because we're coming in fast, but we'll come in fast. Zip a little bit. We'll turn the speed up so we can get to firing range quicker. Here comes the enemy kinetics. Which, with only one ship against 10, we've got enough point defense that that's not going to penetrate. Yeah, it might have been like alien missiles because it was just one big burst and then they were empty. That would also track with the engagement range, I suppose. Maybe it was a missile-armed cruiser. Its frontal armor's holding, but its side is... well, no, there goes the front. Yeah, we are coming a bit fast, so we've actually getting fired at from the station as well. Even though we haven't dealt with the cruiser yet. Okay, destroyed next. Here we go. Global Fortress Station next. Well, it's all Cobalt Fortress Station. The next battle station, obviously. Then the alien layer defense. And enemy resistance ceases. Again, we came in fast, so we took a lot more damage than we probably needed to, but I'm at the point where the aliens don't have enough to stop us anymore. So, as far as things we need to destroy before the Gotta Go Fast ship arrives, we've just got Tumbleweed, Sakulis, and the Spectral Knife Base at Tumbleweed, Sakulis, and Meng Po. And we have a ship on the way to Meng Po, arriving the 30th of April. January, February, March, April, May. April's before May, so they should arrive. Yeah, got an order of operations. These will arrive before the Gotta Go Fast ship. Does it look like there's a presence on... Wait, what? Oh no, it's because it's in the system. We can't probe or find a base here because this is the aliens. This is the aliens. I cannot steal it from them. Okay, fair enough. Confirm.
Standing by.
Yeah, confirm assignments. The last counselor can't have an assignment. They're on a ship. so close to getting the sustainability really good in the EU, and now it's real bad.
The people will be free.
Long live the revolution. The revolution is coming. Uprising is underway.
Dropped it from 7 million to 6 million. Cool. We engage. Gonna start the battle. I'm gonna manually fight this battle. This is likely to be the last space battle. This isn't even a particularly dangerous battle station combination. It's 3 battle stations, 1 defense array, and 1 point defense array. Destroy Ham. And then I'm going to do what I would do even if we weren't basically prone to winning, which is we're going to begin preparations to refuel the thing so it can leave. Because, you know, it might want to leave at some point. It's going to probably leave in the post-game if you were to continue playing, but... Close the gate. Oh, there's a station there. Oops, daisy. No, wrong button. Definitely the wrong button. Undock.
The people demand justice.
Ready for my mission.
High-level bombardment on the base that is actually harmless at this point because it hasn't had time to put up its defensive weapons. Oh, poor Spectral Life base. Interesting. Terrorist bombings through the Madrid region. National tragedy. Nationwide manhunt. Who nationwide manhunt? Unable to track down the perpetrators of the crime. Shame.
People will be free.
Death to tyrants.
Death to tyrants.
Okay, for whatever reason, they weren't able to destroy it from that level. Coming for a low bombardment. And then I think gotta go fast. Might be able to do it docked. I think it's a counselor mission that we need to do, so we need to wait until we
The
can do the
people
counselor
will
missions.
be free. The people will be free.
And to be fair, I can't do that until Spectral Knife Base is destroyed. There we go. Close the gate. So, have our counselor assign the section or target the alien wormhole module at their primary Cooper Belt base with close the gate mission. To launch the mission to win the game, we must first fulfill the rest of these objectives. No alien control on Earth. No Tier 3 alien bases at Mercury, Earth, Mars, Ceres, Vesta, 4 Vesta, 2 Pallas, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune systems, and destroy all Tier 3 bases in the Cooper Belt, and destroy all alien fleets with a combined strength of 2,000 or greater, which is where we're at. So I think we're just winning the next mission phase. You know, just in case we need to not be docked, we'll undock the ship. Undock, gotta go fast. Aliens are guessing what's about to happen and are trying to stop it. Oh, if they're just gonna back off, I can just back off. Says we can set the, here. Go to that base. In reverse. There we go. Can you do the mission from
Standing
there?
by for orders.
You're on the ship. Maybe need to be landed at the base. And land first. Oops. Gonna have to go on War Council or cycle around. It's fine. It's fine. They've decided to bombard us, which, if we didn't have a second fleet here, would be an issue. Your job is to come reinforce. We probably don't need them to come reinforce, but we're gonna have them come reinforce just in case.
Death to tyrants.
Netherlands is free.
Long live the revolution!
The uprising is underway.
East Germany is free.
The uprising is underway.
Death to tyrants.
So we need to wait until the end of the year so we can do the close the gate mission, or not the end of the month here, so we can sign the close the gate mission.
The people demand justice.
Ready to go.
Your orders? The government must fall.
Close the
Forcing in.
gate. I don't know where in the council cycle close the gate is, but here,
It was
it's here.
always going to come down to this. A desperate last push. An unbeatable enemy barricaded in their stronghold. A ragged band of heroes standing up for everyone else. To be honest, I didn't think it would work. I thought that no matter how well we planned, they'd be more than ready for us. We all fought it. But we did our jobs anyway, because we were there and because we relied on each other. And in the end, maybe that's enough.
Victory for the Resistance. The faction known as the Resistance has achieved its final goal. Resistance forces detonated a weapon to shut down the alien wormhole in the outer system, stranding alien forces here and dooming them to defeat. The enemy gate is shut.
We've done it, Commander. The invaders are cut off from their home and their forces are in disarray around the solar system. Humanity is free to chart its own course once again.
Reading the event here. So yeah, so they had to physically had to send people through the portal to make sure that both ends detonated. That of a low-yield tactical nuclear weapon. That is odd, since according to our calculations, the blast from the payload should have at least been the magnitude greater. As whatever the majority of the energy from the explosion would be discharged on the far side. That there's very much left of that hab. In any case, the operation is successful. No traces remaining of the drain hull, the quantum scaffolding, or any of the alien wormhole operations. Of course, the counselor, and well, it says the counselor is still here, but in storytelling, the people who went through the hole are dead. Is what they're saying. Memorial, along with thousands more killed in the naval battle. Aliens have far defeated. Hundreds of Hydra remain in the solar system, along with countless slaves and human servants. We have to deal with the Hydra agents on Earth, as well as the trolls and synthesizers. The aliens have now lost their greatest advantage. They will have no more reinforcements, no more shipments of exotics. From now on, the numbers will only diminish, while ours will grow. It will take years, perhaps decades, to defeat the remnants. But their cause is now a hopeless one. Today, we've struck the blow that will guarantee humanity's future as an independent species. We are the master of our solar system once more, at least for now. Okay, close, and oh, it just kicks us back to the main menu. Okay, not gonna watch this. Let's see. How did that autosave? Let's load the autosave. This should be reasonably close to the end. It was after the last combat, so... suppose I can sort of start doing the outro here. If you're watching on YouTube and or Twitch and you want to see any of the specific endgame stats, feel free to leave a comment. But well, if I don't go over them, feel free to leave a comment. Or if you're on Twitch right now and want a specific one responded to, feel free to leave a comment. I'm going to poke through some of the ones that I'm interested in, which might not be the ones you're interested in. And I'm going to take a save so I don't lose this in case you're on YouTube and want to respond and leave a comment. So I can look it up and make a short video to answer your question if you've got a question. So at this point, we've obviously won the run. Terra Invicta. This is my first full run through on Terra Invicta. This time, obviously, as the Resistance. At the time of recording, this is on the live patch. Although this was technically started on the experimental version of this live patch. The plan in replacing this game right now is to do Xenonauts next. When we're done with the Xenonauts, I might come back and do a different run in this one, maybe as well, on the experimental build, the actual experimental build, even though this one was technically started on the experimental build.
Where do you need me?
Yeah, so it saved right before we did close the game, so we can basically see what the status of the game was at close the game. Do a quick save here. So this is Resistance. Victory. So I can come back and find the save if you want to see any of the game stats. If I miss a particular bit of game stat you want to see. Didn't quite have as much control of Earth as I would have liked. Oops, that's not Earth. That's the alien base. I suppose one thing we can take a quick look before I start poking around Earth is so our strength is 51,000. What is the strength of the aliens at this point? So apparently there's still about 5,000 combat power worth of aliens kicking around. Obviously divided across the entire solar system, and none of them in cohesive fleets at this point. Most of them are probably dead in the void. That's one reason why they probably haven't formed a cohesive fleet. Low Diomedes orbit. So Diomedes was sort of their forward naval base, which we went and destroyed. So we've got 3 ships all trying to basically rally at the naval base that's been destroyed. We got one on the way. I think this was their colony ship. Yeah, outer system colony ship. So they still have a colony ship, so they could still... Technically, they could still go grab more stuff. So they're not completely devoid of the capacity to bounce back from this. Although we'd have to leave them alone from the bounce back from this at this point. And yeah, most of their stuff is dead in the void. These 5 ships are all out of Delta V, and they're just floating. departing the solar system. So they're on a vector where they can't even they're going. They're not gonna hang around. No Delta V stuck in Mars. No Delta V in Romeo 771. So this was well, you can see a lot of 771. These are mostly space engagements where they came out and intercepted us, burning out to like Jupiter. I think 771's on the way to Jupiter. Was the failed expedition to Jupiter. So these are all people who, again, they're stuck. They don't have the Delta V to go anywhere. They're stuck there. Or at least don't have the Delta V to go where they want. Right. So these ones I think could probably go somewhere if they were willing. Oh, the intersystem colony ship here. So the mothership. So this is a mothership. This mothership has effectively lost engines, so it's stuck. It can't. It's got the Delta V, but it doesn't got the engines. That's what's going on there. These guys got some Delta V, but one of them's lost engines. Right. So they're and then all these guys too much fuel damage, so they don't have anything. Probably in here 9 ships, but some of them have basically lost their engines. Yeah, no engines and no maneuverability, so they're stuck. They've got the Delta V to maybe save themselves and engines. In fact, they got enough Delta V that if the aliens were kind of smart, just a little smarter, they'd go, yeah, that ship, we can't save those ships. We have to they leave them behind and save the other ship. On the other hand, that's not enough for them to win. To bounce back at this point, so it's too late to care about that. That would have been more useful to them earlier on. So near the end, we lost control of the EU, and apparently whoever took it over decided pollution is the name of the game, and totally toasted the sustainability of the place. We started in the United States, or basically went for United States opener. So United States is a great place to live. 57, almost 60,000 GDPC, and that is all as North America. So North America is great, perfectly sustainable. Inequality is very low. Diversity, we're having a little bit of problems with cohesion, trying to keep it around 5, but it's there. It's basically at 5. So at this point, there's no unrest here. It's a full democracy. America's great. We fixed America. China is definitely improving. China's up to 20,000 GDPC. We'd like it to be better, but China's where we arrived actually second, which probably explains why China is probably going to be the best one we're looking at. Russia is actually in some ways a little bit better. Of course, Russia's kind of Russia. Russia would be worse had we done a United North America equivalent to Russia, which honestly might actually be what we should be doing if we were to continue having to drive the servants out of the EU. Is instead of putting the EU back together, putting company number 2 back together, it's probably time to bring people into the Russian sphere and out of the EU one. But yeah. So they'd probably get worse as we took stuff over. I don't think a lot of the things they'd be taking over is super wealthy. I say as I click on things and they're like 30,000 GDPC, 174,000. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe putting things in Eurasia would actually make Eurasian Union better. And we are doing a little bit of growth here. We would have been adding Thailand and Malaysia in given enough time. We got Greater India. We'd like better GDPC in Greater India, but otherwise we did in the end get that stable. And I think it was North America was 1, China was 2, Japan was like 3. Japan's doing pretty nice, though these two would eventually merge in a very long playthrough. Then I think it was actually India, Russia, although Russia did a better job at staying still. We did lose India at some point. And then due to wanting to deny it from becoming an alien nation, we sort of revolutioned the EU, and otherwise that's basically all we've been doing. So there's a lot more of the Earth uncontrolled than I was expecting to need to get to. But then I'm the resistance. I don't need to control the world. Is kind of where we're at. Let's look at some of the other stats. Global stats. Earth population is just over 10 billion people, with another 250,000 in space. Planetary GDP is 173 trillion, with an average GDP per capita of 16, almost 17,000. So I think that's telling you China has above average GDPC, Russia has above average, The only place that I was controlling that doesn't have above average is India, and we're working on that. And then that's 13 trillion GDP, 41 trillion GDP, 7, 21. Okay, so like say 35 plus 41 is 76, 87, 94. So we've got like 94 trillion out of the global 173 trillion. So we have a little over half of the world's GDP in the territory we control. Well, in 4 of the nations that we control. We probably have a little bit more in the smattering around the rest of the world. So honestly, I think if I remember what the objective is for initiative is something like control 70% of the world's GDP. We actually don't quite have enough GDP to win as the initiative. But we're not the initiative. We're the resistance, and our goal is to make sure the aliens don't control anything. We don't care how much of the world we control, just that the aliens don't control anything. Other factions are not quite that lenient. The initiative, it's how much GDP you're controlling. Academy, I think it might be people. The Protectorate needs to own the whole world. The servants need a certain portion of the world owned by the aliens, that sort of thing. Right. So ours was probably the most lenient as far as planet Earth goes. We just needed to make sure that the aliens weren't here, which we did. Climate change, we managed to stabilize it at 2.2 C, and we've basically been able to keep it there. Looks like it hasn't really gotten worse from that point on. We weren't able to make it better, but we weren't... Well, I was actively trying to make sure that the nations I controlled weren't making it worse. Which, if I had controlled more of the world, would have meant we would have been actively making it better at that point. So we probably, if we wanted to try to fix global warming, we could have tried to fix global warming. We just weren't trying. Needless to say, with as much control of the world that we did, we actually have the most public opinion. And we managed to commit the fewest atrocities out of all the factions in this game. Servants and the Protectorate are often the lead with the most atrocities. Initiative and Exodus are actually 3rd and 4th, although they still have like half as much as the pro-alien side. Pro sort of support the alien side. Hans Castile and the Humanity First apparently went very attrition minimal this run, with only 10 atrocities. Or, not attrition, atrocity minimal this run with only 10 atrocities. Exodus had 8, and we managed to keep ourselves low at 6. Atrocities are, well, I think the total war factions. So, Servants, Humanity First, and the Initiative have total war framing, which actually halves the effect from atrocities. So if they all had that, this is the most, that's the second, that's the third, that's the fourth. Humanity First, after you count for that, would actually have effectively less than us than the 2 down here, from a political ability standpoint. Although I don't know if it affects retroactively, so you have to get it first. It's a little bit of a mess there. And yeah, so that's the That's the run as far as all those territories go. And yeah, so this is not getting us a breakdown of what we're paying as far as space resources go. It's just telling us the net modifier, not how much we're getting from bodies, how much we're losing to upkeep, sort of thing. Getting 10.7 boost per day, but we're spending 9.5 of it on HABs. And yeah, that gives you an idea of how much we're spending on HABs and ships. We're actually spending more on ships than HABs at this point in the game, which is maybe not surprising. And then, yeah, our counselors... At some point, we just stopped needing to do stuff with improving the counselors, because counselors lived long enough. We had a little bit of if I remember earlier in the game, we had a little bit of a issue with not being able to raise...
Standing by for orders.
Well, not being able to inspire. I think we could just inspire on every one. I forget what it is. This inspire. Not being able to inspire the inspirer.
Ready for orders.
Where to?
So the counselor that got turned was the counselor that does the inspire missions, and the way you unturn someone is you inspire them. So we had a little bit of kerfuffle where we had to fire a counselor mid game
At your service.
because they were turned and
Reporting in.
giving up information.
Standing by for orders.
Other than that, we managed to keep all our counselors
Your
alive.
orders?
At your service.
So we've got the 83-year-old here, who's possibly... Oh no, he isn't our first counselor. Because I think the first counselor was the one we had to actually get rid of. But this would have basically been our second counselor. So we've got 83-year-old, 79, 76, 77, 70, 73... So yeah, everyone's between like 70, early 70s to early 70s to early 80s is the age of our council here. So good old life extension allowed us to keep the counselors around forever. Had stuff started to go wrong, these guys would have started reaching the point where they'd age out and actually
I'm here.
actually retire or
Ready.
die of old age. It's not a good way to see how close they are to doing that, but as you can tell, they're looking old.
Reporting in.
Like, he doesn't look very old, although he is old. He's 83. You're looking at 77. Usually, when their faces started to turn gray, that's an indication they're getting to the point where it's something
Ready.
you're not far off from them moving on. Yeah, so it might just be that this guy's the closest to going. In old age. Although we've basically near the end we were adding a half a month on every like 2 years. Right, so or no, half a year on every 2 years. So the mean time to dying was okay, it was still probably catching up with our poor counselors, but it was definitely running away from them attempting to run away from them at the same time. We basically researched all the important texts. There's a bunch of projects we could do that we didn't do. We didn't do any of the bridges. Some of these bridges are probably worth doing, but we didn't do any of them. Actually, maybe a lot of these bridges aren't worth doing. Mostly these are connect to places for traffic reasons. If you don't want to do early on when the aliens can't fly, because then the aliens can travel across these. So we did the one that connects North and South America. And did I do... I don't see it here, so I may have done it. Might have done the one that connects Russia and the United States. Otherwise, we must have left it alone. We didn't get solar streamers early enough for it to be warranted. This one can be useful for early colonization of Mars. Well, there's certain windows you want to colonize. The whole point of this one is it mitigates the modifier for missing your window. Once you're on Mars, usually this isn't very useful, but before Mars, that's useful. And then the sort of thing, like, we didn't go through the solid core line. We didn't go through electrostatic, or I think we did. We did the other types of fusion. We did one type of fusion. We didn't do all of them. So we didn't do Z-pinch. We didn't do fusion Topomac. Didn't do mirror, or electrostatic, or whatever, right? Or hybrid confinement. Usually when you're going one of those fusion reactors, pick a fusion line, go all the way to the end. You'll get a usable drive at the end of the line, is basically how it works. We didn't do plasma cannons, and I don't recommend that you do plasma cannons. We can actually do Schiller obsolete in case. You can see all the stuff that we hit obsolete on. It's like, yeah, the torch drive, like, we don't need these drives. These drives are in the past. At some point I decided the arc laser batteries weren't really worth doing. Because when we're running lasers, you usually want to run the laser cannon, and if you got a battery, then you probably want it to be plasma, so you can chip the armor off, so the laser can cut the ship of it. Adding more lasers, you want one big laser, and then you want to be able to chip through the armor of the plasma, is I think how it goes. Nuclear torpedoes are not bad, although they can be a little fiddly to play with. We skipped Advanced Marine Unit. That's why we didn't research that. And we skipped the lower laser point defense turrets. We ended up we used the 40mm. We used the particle point defense, and then we jumped straight to phasers, point defense phaser turrets. So that's why we don't have these researched. And then we basically jumped endgame batteries, endgame radiators. There's a bunch of radiators and batteries in here we didn't research. And there's a bunch of drives in here. Most of the offshoot mid-game fission drives were skipped. Well, and then much like I said, you do one line of fusion. You usually do one line of fission, right? So we did the vapor core fission. So we skipped solid and liquid. And there's a bunch of cannons in here. So it depends on how early you went into battle. The earlier you get into battle, the more useful some of the earlier game stuff is. Otherwise, you skip it. So like infrared, yeah, you could use infrared, and infrared I think is going to get better in the experimental when the plasma comes in earlier. Because really, to make lasers work, you need plasma. Is my experience at this point. Otherwise, you run into situations where the aliens bring armor, and your laser just tickles them. You bring plasma, and okay, your laser tickles them until the plasma cuts a hole in the armor, and the laser then kills the ship. That's also why you don't see me having a plasma cannon here, because your cannon probably wants to be lasers, your batteries probably want to be the plasma. Unless you're thinking about getting guns for the defense turrets, which I think at some point they swapped it so that you don't research the batteries or the cannons or whatever for the battle stations. I don't know if that's still the case or not, but and then we didn't do revenue from sale of space resources to Earth market. That is a way you can generate revenue. The nano fabs do that like twice as effectively. So usually you do the nano fabs if you want that. It starts by default 5% of the buy value is the sell value. Using resources or researches like this, you can kick it up to 25%. If you're using the nano fab and you sort of do the math on what the nano fab's going to earn you, the nano fab is giving you about the return about 50% of the buy value. So you don't want to be buying space resources from Earth to nano fab into money. But if you want to turn space resources into money, the nano fab is better than trying to sell it. Outright sell it like this way. Which is why we didn't just invest in this way. There's better ways for us to make money. That's not the way to do it. And then there's a lot of the unification techs and a lot of the deunification techs. If you see a nation that you need to deunify, like China or something like that, because like the aliens are in it, not the aliens, if the servants are in it. Pick up the deunification text. That makes it easier to chip bits off of it with unrest raising events. Otherwise, don't grab the independence movements, because then that makes it easier for the AI to do that to you. Which is why you see that we haven't obsoleted them, because I wanted to know where they were. But we didn't research them because we didn't need them. And then unification is the other way around. You want to build a nation so the AI has trouble taking bits off of you. Do those unification techs. Don't do the other ones. Easy enough. And with that, I think that's sort of everything to talk about. So that was the run. That was Terra Invicta. I will probably do a Terra Invicta run again at some point. But we're at least going to make a run of Xenonauts to put a little bit of space, let the experimental patch get a little bit farther ahead. And at that point, when we're done with the Xenonauts, we'll look into maybe doing it again. We're not going to do the Resistance again. We'll do one of the other six factions. But yeah, that'll be the plan. With that, if you're watching on Twitch and you want to see anything or want to comment or respond to, feel free to let me know. If you're watching on YouTube, same thing. With that, this VOD will stay up for 14 days on Twitch. So if you're watching the VOD later on Twitch and you want to comment or respond to, feel free to hop over to YouTube. YouTube handles the asynchronous comments a little bit better. With that, I'm just going to wish you all the best of luck and a good time until the next part. Or, well, until the next stream, which will be a different stream. With that, bye for now.